to the Miami Heat Zone podcast. We're pushing to 6,000 subscribers. Make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button, and thank you for all the support. Today we have Daryl. Once again, Daryl, what is going on with this Miami Heat team? Last night, I honestly think they should have beat the Orlando Magic. They didn't have really any of their star players. Yes, we didn't have Jimmy, but if this team has, championship aspirations, how on earth do you, only score 8 points in the fourth quarter and then you drop a 20-point lead?
So the funny part is I didn't see the game. I got all the updates. I'm not a huge stat watcher unless I'm looking for something particular. But it's funny when you watch all the games and then you don't watch a game, you can see certain things. This goes back to the last pod we did. I've said this year is about Spo. Everybody wants to give the blame to a certain player, okay? But the reality is he is the leader of the team, okay? People are going to say, oh, it's Riles. No, the coach is the leader. It's that simple, bro. It starts from there. He decides who plays. He decides who plays how many minutes. He decides the roles in which they play. Everything starts with him, okay? So we can talk about players and not having good performances, and that's all warranted. I get all that. But when you continuously put people in the wrong places to succeed, you're going to run into problems. And this guy, for the last 2 years, I don't give a crap what anybody says. He has been borderline horrible. He is literally coached to the point that if he didn't have the deal that he has and the aura that is built around this guy, he is literally on the hot seat to be fired. There are coaches that have won more recent titles. I'm talking coaches that have won titles a year or two ago that have been fired for less. But because everybody has turned this guy into the GOAT, he lives in this world where it's like, oh, I can just talk about we just have to be tougher and we have to be more consistent. Obviously, bro. You've had this same build as long as Tyler and Jimmy have been here, and they have taken all the scapegoat stuff, but yet he gets none of it. Why does it take you 25 games every year with the same team to decide if you like that lineup? What, you don't know how Duncan Robinson plays? You don't know how Tyler Hero plays? You don't know what Jimmy likes to do and the minutes he likes to play and how he wants to play? You don't know, your own players are coming out and telling you, I don't want to play the 5 anymore. Your own players are saying on national television that just retired for the team and is head of product of development that he's not a 5. But yet he triples down on it. And it's like I said, I asked some questions last night because I didn't see the game. Maybe you can answer the question for me because I don't know all this. Did Tyler, Drew, and Terry play together in the fourth quarter?
That's the problem, because when you look at Khalil Ware, as soon as he checked into the game, a block, runs the floor, boom, and slams that lob. That's all I want from Khalil Ware. I don't need him to do anything else besides block a few shots, just so that people can say, you know what, if I get past Bam, I actually have to pay attention to the rim because someone's going to block my shot. And then, oh, wait, I have a 7-footer running behind me that's probably going to dunk it on my head. So, yes, to answer your question, why on earth did he roll out a small guard lineup with Bam Adebayo when Khalil Ware was playing? He was playing fine. He's going to make mistakes. Yes, he's small. Yes, he's kind of lengthy and he doesn't really know what he's doing out there. But at the same time, the basics of basketball that he knows is there. Dunk the ball and block shots and get some rebounds. That's all. So I don't understand why. Pretty much like to what you said, it took him 25 games and we're at 500. You should have just been playing Khalil Ware anyway because we're losing the games anyway.
Did I not tell you this 3 weeks ago? I told you what we were going to be, right? I told you we were going to be 500. We've been 500, the same team for the last 3 years at this point. So this is what frustrates the hell out of with Spo. So he likes to take undrafted guys and pinpoint one thing that they do well, and then he highlights the whole offense around it. So Duncan Robinson, you are elite at the pick and roll and the dribble handoff with Bam. You are a great shooter. That's the only thing you can do. So we're going to highlight that. Why is it different with what you just said? All I need Khalil Ware to do is get me 10 goddamn I don't even care if he scores. I need him to get 10 rebounds and deter shots so that Bam, if you go back to the game previously with the OKC game where what's his name, the other cat, not William, what's his name? What's the guy who scored 33?
Damn, I can't remember the name, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
They moved Bam to him late in the fourth because we were having trouble guarding him.
Yeah.
That is all possible with Tatum, with Brown, with all these secondary stars, but you can't do it if you don't have a backline guy. So if he's the best defender on the team and you need to say, I need a stop on another dude, that's where you put Bam. But so you won't take the one attribute that Ware has and put him in that role. But you'll take Larson, you'll take Drew, you'll take Duncan, you'll take Max, you'll take Gabe. The list goes on and on. You'll take them, but you won't take the guy that you invested a 15th pick in. This is why I tell you about the stats. I don't want to always read the stats because it skews things, right? Last night, Kel'el Ware played 9 minutes. They were up 9 rebounds at halftime. The end of the game, he played 4 minutes. They lost the rebounding by 4. That's where the game is lost. We can sit here and talk about they didn't score enough. We didn't do this. The fact is, Spo is a defensive coach. That's what he hangs his hat on. They already got you the fucking lead you needed. So you can sit up here and say, well, Tyler didn't score enough points and this guy didn't score. They had 3 guys with 23 points. They got you a 22-point lead, and you decide to triple down with the smallest guys on the team and the guy who has been playing 40 whatever minutes Bam played at the freaking 5 with a big-ass team. And the guy who already just showed you in the first half what he did. I'm done blaming the players, bro. I'm done. Like, I'm sick of this GOAT talk. His ego has grown to this amount that he does no wrong, and he's not being checked. And listen, people blame Riley, and they blame the front office and this and that, and I've said this before, okay? If I'm mad at Riley, I am mad that Riley has not checked Spo. When Riley got pissed in the past, he came down. I'm not saying it's going to happen now. He came down from the office, fired Stan Van Gundy, which was his guy, and said, I'm taking over because this is ridiculous what you're doing with what I've assembled. That is a dude that checked somebody. But because you paid Spo the biggest contract in NBA history and people think that he can do no wrong, that he can't be checked. This has been going on, and I've said it since day one. Small ball will not win in this league. I don't give a shit what Jimmy, what Tyler, what any of them do. 48 minutes of small ball, you will lose because you are going to run into a team that is able to combat what you're doing, whether it's Denver and you're going to go put a really physical Aaron Gordon on Jimmy, whether you're going to, or Milwaukee's going to change their perspective and they're going to put Giannis on Jimmy because they still have the backline guy. There's a lot of nuances that that teams can do when you plan full-time small ball. The reason it worked for Golden State is because they played it 12 to 15 minutes a game. When they went to that death lineup, it was shocking. It was like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? What do we do?
Plus, they had the best shooters of all time, so you can kind of get away. You know, Klay Thompson was in his prime. You know, he was a 3-and-D guy where, you know, he could pull up from anywhere. You know, he was getting, 30-point, third and fourth quarters. Like, when you have 2 of the best shooters of all time, which Jimmy and Bam are not. So when you have 2 of the best shooters, you can afford to play small ball because you know good and well your offense is going to be able to carry you. It's like what you said for those 15 minutes. So you're cool. So you can afford that. But obviously with this roster, so prime example, Haywood Heisman. Didn't we pay him like $10 million? If we paid this guy $10 million,
he's getting like
or $5 million. All right, $5 million. But we brought him back, and you're telling me if he's pretty much our best perimeter defender outside of Bam Adebayo, why is he not playing? And you have guys like Cole Anthony dropping 35 points on the Miami Heat, and he didn't even play in the first quarter.
You signed Haywood Highsmith for one reason and one reason only, to play defense. So it goes right back to the same thing we just talked about. If that is his niche, if Duncan's niche is this and that guy's niche is this, all you had to do was defend at the quarter at a medium rate with a 22-point lead. But you felt compelled to leave Terry in because he scored points. So what you wanted to do was you went away from your defensive philosophy to say, hey, I just want to outscore them when we are not that team. So if you look at the starting lineup that's been recently, it has a good net rating, right? Duncan, Highsmith, Tyler, Jimmy, Bam. That to me is the death lineup because you're basically leaning into the Tyler, Duncan shooting. But that's not the base offense. And that's what I get into argument with the Golden State people all the time. They're like, no, the death lineup played the whole. No, they didn't. Bro, that team had like 4 7-footers on that team.
They did.
They used to start them all, and they would play. And then at the end of quarters, they would come in with the death lineup for like 3 minutes. It's like relating it to football. I relate a lot of stuff to football. It's like the teams that are the ground and pound teams. They pound the hell out of you. And then all of a sudden they bring in this 180-pound back that just goes zoom, 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 and you wear them out because they're so tired from getting pounded. It's the same thing with basketball. You have a base team, you have your defense, and then you come in with that death lineup and you score a shit ton of points. And by then, you've built a 15, 20-point lead. And then what do? You come right back with that base defense again, and you say, listen, the only way that you are going to get back into this game is by threes. And if you hit an amazing amount of threes, but you're not coming in the paint. Because now we got 2 guys in the paint. He refuses to do it. And his ego has cost these guys and this team so much. But because the national media is out there, oh, he's the greatest, and oh, he's an Olympic coach, and this and that. I'm sick of it, dude. When was the last time that guy won a title?
Plus, like, think about it. You know how many games that we just lost because we got, maybe from like a tip-in? Just a simple tip-in. Like, we lost that Kings game, and I believe it was like one other game. All these little, nuances with the rebounding and just those little things are causing us to lose all these games. And I just think, like I said, they came out and said, we drafted Khalil Ware to play next to Bam. And we've pretty much seen none of it.
Nothing.
And you know what I mean? We've seen none of it. And he's a 7-footer that, like I said, is he perfect? No. But how else is he going to learn? But quick question though, what are your plans for Jaime? I don't really know what he's doing out there. He said he worked on his game. He said he worked on his 3-point shot. But outside of that, everyone knows that pump fake, no one's falling for it, and no one's falling for that spin move. And the athleticism that I thought he had is definitely not there. What is going on with Jaime Jaquez, and what should we do with him going into the future? Because that's the thing. With all this Jimmy Butler trade, we have to pick a direction ASAP. You know what I mean? If we can't win without Jimmy Butler, that's why I always say this team goes as far as Jimmy Butler takes them, because we can't even beat the Orlando Magic without Jimmy.
So I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but the problem with Jaime is Spo. You changed the offense from a slow-paced playoff offense like Jimmy, where that guy can prod, get into the paint, do all his stuff. When you went to this 5-out offense, now it's a completely different offense for him. Now the only way he can be effective is being a cutter. Before, when you played this slow 98-point offense, it was like, oh, we give him the ball. He's played college for 4 years. He's led teams. That's fine. But he has no 3-point shot, and he has no mid-range game. And this is important, and people are going to push back on this. Spo does not want any mid-range shots.
And I don't understand why.
I don't agree. Listen, I don't agree with a lot of 5 Reasons stuff, okay? I listen to all their stuff because I like some of the content, but I don't agree with a lot of their stuff. I listened to one of the pods the other day. Do you know how many shots JJJ has taken from 16 to 24 feet this year?
Maybe, 3 or 0?
0.
Wow.
He hasn't taken one long 2 all year. That is being scripted by the coach.
Absolutely. And I just think that this new offense has done more harm than good, because think about it. We do not have, besides Duncan and Tyler, no one on this team can shoot threes like that. In terms of at an elite level, your 2 best players cannot shoot threes. And then also too, like our role players, they're okay at shooting threes. So how are we going to go to this Golden State, 5-out or Boston Celtics 5-out offense when you don't even have the personnel to shoot those threes on a consistent basis? Especially, like I said, Bam Adebayo is not a three-point shooter. Jaime Jaquez Jr. is not a three-point shooter. They can shoot it, but for you to change the offense to where now, I think, because even Bam was struggling because, think about it, it's like what you said. We cannot even take mid-range shots, which I think that's foolishness. This is the game of basketball. Every shot should be available, whether it's a layup, three-pointer, mid-range. I don't understand. Just because Stephen Curry can shoot these logo threes doesn't mean that everybody can do it. I get Tyler and Duncan are great at that, but it's the game of basketball. We need to be taking mid-range shots. Now, should the whole team be taking mid-range shots? No. Obviously, because, Jimmy's going to be there. Bam, Jimmy, Jaime, they should be the ones to be taking those mid-range shots. Everyone else can now, pick and select their other shots.
If you go back, I brought this up on some spaces in the past. There's been 2 or 3 games where I've noted, and I'm not the highlight clip guy, right? But Tyler has broken down his man from the top of the key, and he made the guy either fall or the guy, step back, whatever. And that would typically be a long 2. He didn't take the 2. He literally did that James Harden where everybody thinks it's, that it's a travel where he takes one lunge back and then like a double step to get behind the 3-point line because he knows if he takes it, that's what's not being scripted. So fast forward, I think it was 2 or 3 games ago, Tyler was cold. He got cold from 3, and late in the game in the 4th, he just said, screw it. And he went and took, I believe, 2 or 3 mid-range jump. He did that one like turnaround one. He did another. He got his confidence back, and then all of a sudden he went back out to the 3 and he hit like 3 out of 4 or something like that. You can't take basketball players that are natural scorers, that are natural, that what they do, and just hold their hand and say, this is all of what you're going to do. That's crap. It's the same thing that's going on with Terry. It's the same thing that's going on with JJJ. You change the offense, and then you thought it was going to have no negative effect because he does this whole stands up in the interviews and says, well, we just have to do better. That's bullshit. These guys have been shooting this way and playing this way for 10 goddamn years. Do you think JJJ was ever a damn 3-point shooter at any point in his life? No, he was never doing that. So to go do that and say that to him, which is why when he came out in the interview and he said, oh, I need to be a lockdown defender and 3-point shooter, because he already knew that offense was coming. Doesn't mean he could do it. But now you've handicapped that guy to the point that he's capped. He's literally capped. So if you're going to keep this offense, then you trade him. There is no point in devaluing what he is anymore. Because, listen, it came out last year at the end of the year. He was one of the most tradable assets on the team, what he did as a rookie. But what he did as a rookie in that offense. Not this one. You hold on to this guy past this year and you showcase this crap, he's going to be worth nothing. So if this is the offense you want, fine. Then trade his ass and go get a piece that works for this offense. But stop trotting out this crap and saying, oh, we need to play him this amount of minutes. Like, dude, I have nothing wrong with Pelle Larsson. Dude hasn't played in 6 games, and you had him in the closing minutes of this game that's falling apart. That's not coaching? Come on, man. Like, that shit has to stop. It's ridiculous. Bud Budenholzer got fired the year after he won a freaking title. And he went to the finals like 2 out of 3 years and won a title, and he got fired the next year. And this dude hasn't won a damn title in 11 years. Had the same team for 6 years, still trots out the same bullshit, and everybody wants to blame freaking Pat Riley.
Yeah, I mean, something definitely needs to be done when it comes to these rotations. I mean, you do have a veteran in Alec Burks who his defense has been solid. He hasn't really missed too many threes this season.
Can't get on the floor.
And he can't get on the floor. I get, listen, Larson's great and all, but sometimes you need those veterans on the floor for moments like this. That's why you have veterans on your roster to help close out wins with Jimmy, Bam, Tyler, and the rest of them. So real quick before we close, we're seeing all these different rumors. Who knows what to believe? I know a lot of people are saying that Shams and all of them are lying. Why would they lie, first of all? I just think that when you have Brian Windhorst, you have Shams, you have pretty much the whole entire NBA, giving all these hints and clues to different teams that want Jimmy. Obviously, there has to be some type of truth. Of course, Bernie Lee's going to come up here and try to squash it, But what do you think about all these trade rumors? Should we trade Jimmy? Like, I know we spoke about this before, but especially how there's potentially 7 teams. Barry Jackson even now, he pretty much cleared the whole air and said, listen, they are listening. It's just that, of course, because of the new CBA and different rules, and then obviously they want the right package back. They are definitely listening, though, to trading Jimmy Butler. Some people are saying that, he's been a pain for these past 6 years. Who knows to what degree exactly? And who knows how bad? But what do you think about all the Jimmy stuff?
All right, so we've highlighted this. I've been talking about a lot of this on Spaces lately. I think when you talk about this, you have to dial it back, okay? I'm on a lone island here with only a couple other people. Everybody refers back to the Portland trade. I'm telling you straight up, I don't care what anybody agrees with. Tyler was never in the package for Dame. And the reason why I'm saying this is it has this point. The point of that trade was they wanted to pair Tyler with Dame. If you really think about it, why would a GM get so upset that he wouldn't even talk to you the rest of the time? Everybody want to say, oh, he's being petty, this and that. Yeah, he was petty. Why would you become petty?
Well, hold on. Because the media was telling him that we were trying to fleece him. Because when you look at what he got was trash. I don't care what anyone says. Obviously, they flipped Drew Holiday for the first round pick, but they got Malcolm Brogdon made out of glass, and then they got Robert Williams made out of glass, and then Ayton, he's trash. Yeah. Jaime and Jovic would fit their roster better in terms of right now going into the future. But go ahead.
Oh, and they would have had Duncan, and they would have had Tyler's expirings. They would have listen. The package was better, even without Tyler, because you could have still given the extra pick that you gave for Lowry. So that's what I'm talking about. You would have had Lowry, you would have had Duncan, you would have had Jovic, you would have had JJ, and you could have given. So he basically would have gotten 3 picks, and he would have had expirings for what he got. So if you take that context into what I'm talking about, I look at it the same way. My opinion is what they're trying to do right now, I don't think they want to get rid of Jimmy Butler. I think they want Jimmy Butler, but I think they want Jimmy Butler at their number. And my opinion is Jimmy Butler, in my opinion, is a $40 million player. I think they would like to give him a 2-year deal at $40 million so that they can go get the same scenario, what I'm talking about, where they can pair him with one other guy. My guy is De'Aaron Fox. The problem with this is, can you move all the other pieces to get a De'Aaron Fox? I don't know. We've done more with less. Listen, they got Jimmy Butler with Josh Richardson. Okay. But so that's what I'm seeing. If it does not work, they need to trade Jimmy Butler, because they can get De'Aaron Fox if they trade Jimmy Butler. And that's where people have to, at some point, you have to say, what do you want to do? Because De'Aaron Fox for this offense that we just highlighted is perfect. He is absolutely perfect. You pair him with Tyler Hero, they will probably be in the top 3 best, guards in the league. That's my opinion. It suits everybody. But I don't think they can get it done. If they could get it done, I think the reason why they do it is because now you put the onus on Jimmy. So if you decided to trade all these pieces, everything you had to get De'Aaron Fox and Jimmy was still here, now you put the onus on Jimmy. You want to be a part of what we're doing for the next 2 years and we're going to give you $80 million? Or do you want to be the malcontent and say, hey, I'm pissed off because you went and got another guy and leave? And if that's fine, if you want to do that, that's fine, because now I will trade you and I will go get those complimentary players to supplement what I just got with Fox, Hero, and Bam, because JJ doesn't fit. Spo won't play where. He won't play Jovic the way he needs to be. So in my opinion, whether I like the player or not, trade him, because this idiot won't freaking play him. So it's a win-win for me. I get rid of him. I get the new guy. Jimmy doesn't want to be here because he wants to be a dick. Fine, I'm going to trade you. I'll go get, Tari Eason. I'll go get defenders. I'll go get a true center, whatever. I'll go get guys that work in this offense, and I move forward, and my window opens for 8 years. Because now you're an under 27 team. Once you get rid of Duncan, Terry, and Jimmy, you're one of the youngest teams in the league. You're like top 7, 8 in the league. And you got 3 guys. So I think what they're trying to do is just put pressure on Jimmy. I think they don't want to get rid of him. I don't think they want to push him out in a way like they did Wade. They learn from that situation. But I also think they're doing the right thing, and they're not giving into what he wants. I'm not paying for past stuff. I don't want to make the same Kobe mistake. You can do that when a guy is 28 and he did it for 4 years before and he's still got 6 or 7 years. You can't do that when you're saying, but look at what he did for us in the bubble. I don't give a shit what he did 5 years ago in the bubble. He was 30 freaking years old. He ain't doing that for another 5 years. So,
but they paid him. They gave him $150 million. It's not like they shortchanged him.
But that's what I said. He still had 3 or 4 years left, so you could make that call. He doesn't have 3 or 4 years left. So whatever you're paying him now is you're paying him off the past. To me, he's worth $40 million because he is a guy still late in games that you can go to. He is a guy who still scares the other team. He is a guy who is clutch, and I'm willing to pay that for that moment. He is a true 1A player when he plays.
But
you can't pay a guy $57, $58 million like you're watching with Beal, who doesn't play all those minutes like he did when he was 30. So for me, it's a win-win. You either move on, you try to acquire the other piece, and then say, what do you want to do, Jimmy? You're either going to be the malcontent or you're going to be down with this to try to win this title, or I'm going to move you. And I don't think it's going to work because I don't think they can get enough stuff out of the other pieces to do it. But I think they're going to try. But if it doesn't work, you got to trade Jimmy, man. Like you got at some point you got to move on, man. You got to move on to what's happening. And like I said, it doesn't matter whether Jimmy's here or not. You're not winning a title with the small ball. So at some point there has to be a positional and change to what you're going to do, no matter how much you like it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, we always get caught up in this past success with, with everything that has been going on. And, like people will talk about the bubble and what all the great things that Jimmy Butler has been able to do. But like I said, times change. De'Aaron Fox right now, he is not happy in Sacramento. Him and his agent are reading the room. And I think they're going to be gone because he wants to win and they're 12th in the West. And when you're 12th in the West, you're not going to get out of that position, just overnight. But once again, Daryl, thank you for the great conversation. We're going to have to see what this Miami Heat team does going into the future with Jimmy, with this new offense, with Spo, and just with the overall team itself, because something definitely needs to change. We've been pretty much experiencing this since 2020, and we're going to be a play-in team once again from what it looks like. So we'll see what happens.
You got to go with the Spo, man. He's the leader. Keep saying it.
So, guys, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. We're pushing to 6,000 subscribers, and thank you guys for all the support.